Okay, guys, somebody in the comments of the last video asked for an update on BSV and coinglass and BTC, and that's a fair request because as I'm looking at the statistics, I'm seeing some pretty interesting stuff. So right now we're looking at Bitcoin, okay? So this is BTC, okay? So BTC, the volume, you can see has decreased in the last 24 hours, all right? And as we scroll across, this is a nice little banner here to look at some things. Let's see here, 24-hour liquidation has also decreased, and the long short, so there's more people short on it than long. It's kind of neither here nor there, but when that's compared, well, let's go down here real quick. Let me show you something else. Bitcoin's been hanging out at 2.24 million. And sorry about that first video I made. I said, like 24 million or something like that instead of 2.24. I was just, I think people realize what I was saying. I was just, my mind goes to other places and my mouth doesn't keep up. But the point is, we're still quote unquote negative for the month. But again, if you watch that previous video, you'll see where 150,000 coins came out of nowhere. See, the issue is, and then again, just to explain what's going on, you can zoom in. This is a smart, I'm trying to get that thing out of the way. There we go. This is a smart graph right here that you can zoom in on. And as you can see right now, the bottom of supply is at 2.2, basically. That's the lowest it's ever been. When if you go back, which you can't see it unless you just look at the video that I already made about this, where I provide the screenshots from before. If you go back, you'll see where it's been down to 2 million flat, and it was down to 2 million flat back in this area, okay, back in here. So they've added on 350 million coin, or 350,000 coins. Sorry, man, I'm just can't talk. Maybe I'm half autistic or something. But anyway, other than that, give me a second here. Let me pull up a different screen. What's interesting is BSV, their volume is up. So the opposite of Bitcoin. Now I have to use two different websites to achieve this data because they don't have BSV on coinglass, at least not last time I checked. So this is a very bullish signal right here. When you look at the volume down here, the volume, it's like we hit bottom here at, what is that right there, 26. We hit volume in the 25s and boom, it spiked up real quick, right? And so anyway, but look at the volume's steadily increasing. Now the interesting thing about BSV is if you go out to a 7-day chart, at no point did it ever get below 10% of total market cap for the daily volume in the last, how long has it been? Since this spike here. So back here, we were up above 20% of daily volume, like right around 20%, I believe it was, for the total market cap. So let's go down and see these statistics that I'm talking about real quick. So volume, notice how it's up in the last 24 hours, 44%. Compare that to Bitcoin. Okay, Bitcoin was down that same percentage in the last 24 hours, basically. So we're up to 90 million on a total market cap of, where's the total market cap? Okay, so there's 19.9 million BSV, just like there's that many Bitcoin. I think that's the total market cap right there. Because I think if you take the price, which is like 27 bucks, times 19.9, I think it gives you that number right there, if I'm not mistaken. So the point is, the volume relative to the market cap is back up to 16%. When you have that for a day, it's one thing, but when you've had over 10% for over 10 days, that means the total amount of market cap has been traded in the last 10 days. And it's actually more than that because there's been a lot of days where we've been in the 15s and up near 20. So I'd say I'm just taking a rough guesstimate. Somebody needs to find a website that shows the actual data. I can't find one that goes back and shows each day's volume. But the point is, for BSV, I can find it for Bitcoin, but I can't find it for BSV. The point is, about 150%, if I'm not mistaken, of the total market cap has traded. Now, that doesn't mean every coin has moved. That means that certain coins have moved many, many, many times. You see what I'm saying? So what's the explanation for that? You could say people are buying it, obviously, but wouldn't the price have gone up? So somebody's been holding it down, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. That means they have an agenda. Someone's been holding it down. And when we scroll on down here, if I'm not mistaken, you can see who trades it the most, okay? And so what we do is we're going to sort this to see who trades BSV the most. So we're going to sort it by volume, okay? So we're going to click that. Okay, so this INDOX, you'll notice that it's by far the most, and you'll notice that there's many of them. So, I'm not a genius in all regards. I'm ignorant in some things. I've looked up this INDOX company. Okay. I've clicked on their website before, but let's just go down here and read about them. UK. The UK is the king of money manipulation. I'm just saying. They, Israel, and now the United States, we're all the kings of money manipulation, right? So the point is, this is like where it all started. So what they're doing is they're swishing around these coins, just like for those of you who don't know, the stock market's controlled as well, because they keep swishing certain stock around, and they actually create synthetic shares, even though they say they don't. They swish stock around and they keep the price low because they trade to themselves. So look at this. You've got all this INDOX. Now here's the interesting thing about INDOX. Okay, so let's read about this. A decentralized exchange headquartered in Estonia and the UK. It supports Euro and USD fiat pairs. It aims to be the safest, fastest digital asset exchange designed to serve experienced traders, professionals, and institutions. Experienced traders, professionals, and institutions. All the people that the masses are trying to get away from the manipulation of, right, of stocks and money, this thing is designed exactly for them. So we don't have access to this I've never seen. Okay, so let's just go to their website here so you can see what I'm talking about. I mean, maybe I could probably start an account on that. That looks pretty cartoony, like it's something that I could become a part of. The point is, I had never heard of it before. I'm not big into this kind of stuff, researching all this stuff. I've heard of Kraken and Coinbase and BitConnect and a bunch of others. I had never heard of this. Okay, so it was just started in 2019. So last time I was really messing with crypto was back in 2018, 19. So these guys had just started. And okay. And then I kind of took a break for a while. And then one of my friends pointed out BSV to me a couple years ago. Sorry, this is being difficult. And so I bought a little bit of BSV, and of course it's lost money since then, but then I kept taking a look at it, and then I saw that big volume spike. The volume spike is really what got my attention. I actually called my friend and said, hey man, something's going on, because they're trading. When BSV's volume spiked up, nobody else's volume was as high as BSV's. So again, just to kind of show you here the volumes, and you can go back a little further. But when you get down to the websites that like I know about, the volumes are very low. So this is like professionals playing with this thing. And in my opinion, they're probably keeping the price down by controlling. They're overloading the exchange with an agreement, and they're keeping the price down. They probably are the ones who brought it down. Okay, that way everybody ran away from it. And I think that it's hit its genuine bottom now, to where they can't do much more manipulation, if that makes sense. So look how violently it went up. It was going down to go below the all-time low, and boom. And then they tried to go down with it again, and then boom. So, you know, let me zoom out here and show you something. Could this be stopped? Is there a trend line there? Sorry, I can't draw anything. Is there a trend line there that this might come up and then go down below? Sure. Do I think that that's coming? Or do I think we're on our way back up towards 50 cents? I think, or $50, I mean. I think we're back up towards $50 instead of going lower. But I'm not a freaking crystal ball, guys. But the point is, obviously in the last year it's down. When you go out to all, it's definitely down, whereas everything else went up. So anyway, the whole Craig Wright is not Satoshi Nakamoto ruling thing, that's what they use to say, oh, that's why we're going to take the price down. I almost think that guy, neither here nor there. I just think it's coincidental, to say the least. I think that it was part of the plan, that they wanted him to claim to be Satoshi Nakamoto when he knows he's not, and then basically, bring the price of this thing down before it flies, before they let it fly. So again, having single wallets that own huge amounts of BSV, let me show you here again. I typed this in earlier. BSV. Sorry about the delay here. I'm trying to find. So anyhow, let's just do this. I was trying to find something else, but as of 2024, they say there's one holding over 7%, but that one's been upgraded now to over 2 million coins, I believe. So it's up past 10%. Here we go. So, I mean, you can see there's some big holders already as far as percentage goes. So we got almost, I'm pretty sure this one's at 10% now. We'll say the other two are still the same. I'm ignorant, I don't know. So these two together equal 1.5 plus another, so there's another 3% at least, okay? So 3% and the 10%. So 13% of it's owned by basically 4 wallets. And then what's this bottom one? Yes, I mean, you throw that on there, you're at 14% basically. So 14% is owned by 5 wallets, but 13% is owned by 4 wallets. That's a big deal. You know what I'm saying? And obviously 10% is by 1 wallet, according to whoever keeps throwing around that there's 2 million in a single wallet. So, you know, if these people are accumulating more, obviously they're wealthy to begin with, so they're going to have some clout in the community to, you know, I don't know if you want to use the word bribe, but lobby, promote, whatever it is to get people to start talking about it. But anyhow, it'll be interesting. Anyway, I just think it's interesting that Bitcoin, the volume is going down on it, whereas BSV, the volume is going up on it. Again, I'm not a perfect crystal ball. This is not financial advice. Do your own due diligence. I'm just saying I'd rather be in a coin that's at its all-time low that we know the SEC in the United States could never rule as a quote-unquote security because it is the original. When all the forks happened, this one starts with 1, whereas the other ones all start with 2s and 3s and other numbers off of the fork. So this is the original numeric chain, if that makes sense. This is the original one. Even though they've called it BSV, this is the original Bitcoin. So if all of a sudden a commodity ruling comes out, even regular BTC could get hit as being a security, whereas this one would actually become the authentic gold where it's not a security. And the reason why that matters is it's not regulated, okay, by the Security Exchange of the United States. So right now they've eased up on things and they say everything's a security, or excuse me, everything's a commodity and nothing's a security. But as soon as there's a little bit of a crash, so what do I think would promote a crash? Well, let's say that all of a sudden they start hacking these things with quantum computers. I think that would take this below $24, okay, temporarily. But because that crash would then lead to the Security Exchange Commission investigation of all the other coins that come crashing down. So could this thing have your money and take it down to $10? Sure, you know, $10 a coin? Absolutely it could. But in the long haul, the commodity security debate, this one will win. It doesn't matter if Craig Wright is Satoshi or not. Craig Wright continued to work towards making this original blockchain Bitcoin idea what Satoshi had envisioned. You see what I'm saying? So that's all we got. I'll let you guys go. See ya.